So this piece comes from my grade 3 repertoire lessons book, but you can watch the video for free and get all the tips and musical ideas to apply to your other pieces, or you can pick up the book if you like. There's a link for that underneath the video. My book kind of goes through a couple of pages of lesson material on the piece to kind of help you learn the piece and also introduce musical ideas as you study my various books. So this piece is from the Renaissance, and in some ways it's pretty easy. It's not necessarily even grade 3, but there's this tuning element. So we have a drop D tuning. And drop D is really fun, and I love this kind of music from this time period, this Renaissance time period, this secular music that's very sometimes droney and dancey, and it's just very charming and unpretentious. You know, it reminds me of like... the Beatles and stuff like that. First thing, let's cover this drop D tuning, which is partly the reason why this piece is in this book. So if you're in regular tuning, your lowest string is E, right? And so these two notes are the same, your E's are the same. We're going to drop the D down. So 3 good turns of the tuning peg. 1, 2, 3. Get you close, but then you have to readjust. You can compare this D now, so you're tuning down to D. You can compare the D with the 4th string D. And whenever you're tuning, like play both notes. Listen to it be out of tune, kind of wobbles, right? And then listen to the tuning even out as you turn it so that you can hear what's happening. You can also use a tuner or just compare it to the 4th string, or you can copy the video here. And then you kind of have this D chord. Drop D tuning is used in a lot of situations. In upper level repertoire, you're going to have to use it with a lot of pieces, you know, whether it's Barrios or various composers use drop D. It's also very useful in transcriptions of lute music because we need that lower register. In this particular piece, you don't need to read any music on the low D string. So you don't need to know that E is here now and F sharp is here. But all the notes would be the same as your 4th string. But you don't need to because it's just the open Ds repeating the whole time. So let's just go over this. First thing, the piece is in D major. So let's play a D major scale for review. So we'll be in 2nd position. Any right hand fingering is fine. I'm just using IM free stroke just to get you into 2nd position and remind you about what that means, keeping the thumb behind the 2nd finger, that kind of stuff. So it's firmly in 2nd position. Now in this piece, there's a pedal point D. So, you know, this constant lower bass line that's just drone. It's like a drone effect. Very charming. Lots of resonance and warmth. You can really feel the guitar vibrate. So you might want to try just playing that on its own with the thumb. So you can try it with free stroke. And don't feel every beat. Don't feel 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just feel the first beat. 1. 1, 2, 3. You know, just feel that 1 beat per bar, so you have a nice smooth feel to the beat. You can also try rest stroking the thumb, which can be very useful too. Just a light rest stroke, right? I use free stroke when I play the piece, but you should practice with both. It's really good practice for you. Now, you might find playing the thumb, the repeated thumb and the upper fingers, alternating the upper fingers, is a little bit difficult. So what I recommend is that take each bar and practice it, but practice it up to the downbeat of the following bar. That way your muscle memory will link from one bar into the next bar. And then if you practice each bar that way, linking them together shouldn't be too difficult. I've written out just 2 bars of that on the lower half of the first page of lessons there. So, just try to make it from one downbeat to the next downbeat. So you're going to be alternating these fingers for the upper beats, and then just thumb, thumb, thumb on the lower voice. And then so that's bar 1 to 2, and then you practice bar 2 to 3. So bar 1 to 2, and then bar 2 to 3. Practicing it in fragments like that. Then let's put them together. There, and then you're up to the third bar there. So you could, if you're having trouble multitasking the thumb line with the melody, practice it in those fragments for as long as needed. Until you're feeling really comfortable. And then just start putting it together. Maybe you can practice 2 bars at a time up to the downbeat of the third bar. And go through the piece like that. And then maybe when you're comfortable with that, you can do 3 bars. And then when you're comfortable with that, you can do 4-bar connections. So just ease yourself into the experience. Because I understand that it can be kind of confusing to keep do the thumb with the fingers like that. As of course, whenever you have a piece, just play the melody on its own. I don't write out the melodies anymore in these books very often because I did that in the grade 1 book, and it's implied that you would. So the melody is just the top voice. So you just want that to be nice and legato, and you want it to sound exactly the way you want your melody to be. And then you can just throw in that thumb. And that's pretty much it. There's just it's like a tuning element, and then a little bit of multitasking with the thumb and the fingers. But besides that, I think the piece is pretty straightforward, and it's a real charming piece, and I hope that you enjoy it. It can go quite a bit faster if you want. Or it can go a little bit slower. Either way, just make sure that you're feeling just the downbeat and that you're swaying through it. You've practiced the melody, and I think that's about it. So when you have to go back to your next piece, make sure you tune back up so you can compare your low string to your high E string, play them at the same time, about 3 turns, 1, 2, 3, and readjust, and then you're back into your regular tuning.